Coming soon to own on
YouTube and Twitch. Every athlete who died in front of their fans. Now, thank God I haven't witnessed nobody
The
dying
beating
on
that
the.
changed.
Oh, damn it! Let me finish talking. Thank God I haven't witnessed, someone dying on the field. But from the looks of it, yeah, Olympics, diving, soccer, BMX, winter sports, baseball. Baseball is probably the only sport I watch the most on here. I watched probably all these other sports before, but baseball is the one I probably watched the most. So yeah, I haven't actually ever experienced watching somebody pass away on live, but thank God I haven't. But enough being said, let's get straight into it.
The beating that changed baseball. On August 16, 1920, thousands
Oh
of
yeah, I
fans
definitely
packed
wasn't
New
gonna see
York's
that.
Polo Grounds to watch the Cleveland Indians face the Yankees. Chapman was Cleveland's star shortstop, known for his quick reflexes and exceptional fielding. The afternoon game moved at a typical pace until the fifth inning when Chapman stepped to the plate. Yankees pitcher Carl Mays threw with a distinctive submarine delivery, releasing the ball from an unusually low angle.
I know exactly what it's like. The nigga on the floor, he like he's shooting that bitch like this. Huh, huh. That shit crazy. That shit crazy.
The ball, dirty and scuffed from previous plays, was difficult to see against the late afternoon shadows. Chapman leaned in slightly, preparing for the pitch. The baseball struck his head with such force that the sound
Ooh.
echoed through the stadium. Many spectators, including the umpire, thought it had hit Chapman's bat. For a moment, Mays fielded
Ooh.
what he believed was a bunted ball and threw to first base. Chapman took several steps toward first base, then suddenly stopped. He dropped to his knees, a look of confusion crossing his face. Blood began to seep from his left ear. Players from both teams rushed to his side as he collapsed onto the dirt infield. Team doctors reached him within seconds. The crowd fell silent as Chapman was helped to his feet, wobbling and disoriented. He attempted to walk off the field with assistance, but couldn't maintain his balance. At New York's St. Lawrence Hospital, doctors discovered his skull was fractured. The impact had driven bone fragments nearly
Ooh.
an inch into his brain.
And it's like people think an inch is so tiny, but it's actually crazy how much an inch matters. Like especially when it goes into your brain. And this was the era before, like I know for a fact they wasn't using helmets.
Surgeons performed an emergency operation, removing a piece of his skull to relieve pressure. Chapman never
Mm.
regained consciousness. At 4:40 a.m. the following
Damn.
morning, he was pronounced dead. The 29-year-old became the only player in Major League Baseball history to die from an injury sustained during a game. The tragedy changed baseball forever. The league soon banned the spitball and other pitches that doctored the ball. More importantly, umpires began regularly replacing dirty balls with clean ones, making them easier
Fair.
for batters to see, a practice
Super
that
fair.
continues to this day. Goalkeeper blocker gone. On November 29, 2017, spectators filled the small gymnasium in Barras, Brazil, to watch a regional futsal
Brazil.
match.
Oh
Santos
shit.
Sousa was the 38-year-old goalkeeper for Flamengo de Piripiri, a team competing in the local amateur league. The indoor arena was humid, the crowd energetic as the
Amateur
match
league.
entered its final minutes. The referee's whistle cut through the noise. A penalty had been awarded to the opposing team. Santos Sousa positioned himself between the goalposts, bouncing slightly on his toes. His teammates stood silent at midfield. The opposing striker approached the ball with measured steps. The shot came hard and fast, aimed at the center of the goal. Santos Sousa didn't dive. Instead, he stepped forward, making himself large, and blocked the ball with his chest.
Yeah.
The impact was solid but unremarkable. The ball deflected harmlessly away. The crowd erupted in cheers. Santos Sousa raised his arms in celebration. His teammates rushed toward him, congratulating him on the crucial save. For a few seconds, everything appeared normal. Then, without warning, his expression changed. A look of confusion crossed his face. He reached out to a teammate who caught him.
See? And that's why you gotta have chest muscles like like these. You gotta have like really a rock solid chest to do some shit like that. To use your chest, you really gotta have a hard, like, you really gotta be lifting weights, bro. It's not something, if you really don't work upper body, let alone chest, like, don't take no necessary chest hits. Cause that shit can fuck up everything if you're not prepared, if your body not prepared for it.
His legs gave way. His body went limp as he collapsed to the court floor. The celebration instantly turned to panic. Players from both teams signaled frantically for medical help. A team doctor reached him within seconds and began CPR. The gymnasium fell silent. Children in the crowd were ushered outside as the medical team continued resuscitation efforts. For nearly 20 minutes, they fought to restart his heart. Paramedics arrived and took over, applying a defibrillator. The electric shocks caused his body to jolt, but his heart showed no response. Despite their desperate efforts, Santos Souza never regained consciousness. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Medical examiners later determined he had suffered sudden cardiac arrest, likely triggered by commotio cordis, a rare but fatal disruption of heart rhythm caused by a precise impact to the chest wall at a critical moment in the cardiac cycle. Lightning's sudden strike on the pitch. On
Somebody got hit with lightning on the pitch.
October 10th, 2018, dark clouds gathered over Banyumas, Indonesia, as two local teams competed on a municipal football field. Raharja, a 35-year-old midfielder for FBI Banyumas, moved across the pitch with the confident stride of a veteran player. The weather had been threatening all afternoon, with humid air and distant thunder, but officials allowed the match to continue. In the 70th minute of play, light rain began to fall. Players glanced upward, but the precipitation seemed manageable. Spectators opened umbrellas as they continued watching from the sidelines. No one recognized the danger as the storm intensified rapidly.
Yeah, they wildin'. Especially 2018? 2018, bro. I thought this was like a every sport thing. It was like the minute a lightning strikes, it's an automatic 30-minute rest period between every lightning strike. I thought that was for like everything sports related. I didn't know that was like that like other places didn't do that. It's kind of crazy.
At precisely 4:17 p.m., a brilliant flash illuminated the entire pitch. The bolt struck without warning. Video footage later showed the lightning hitting just above the center of the field. Electrical current dispersed across the wet ground. Raharja, positioned near midfield, took the full impact. His body convulsed instantly and fell backward. For a moment, other players didn't realize what had happened, assuming he had slipped on the increasingly wet surface. Then
Nah, that nigga got turned into a flash. God damn.
someone shouted for help.
Yo, rest in peace. I
Players
didn't
from
mean to
both
joke like
teams
that.
rushed to his
Sorry.
motionless form. Raharja lay perfectly still, his jersey smoking slightly from the intense heat. Medical staff reached him within seconds. His pulse was weak and erratic. Burns marked his chest and left shoulder where the current had entered his body. The rain intensified as paramedics performed CPR on the muddy field. An ambulance arrived 7 minutes later. Raharja was rushed to Banyumas Regional Hospital as teammates and spectators watched in stunned silence. Inside the emergency room, doctors found severe internal damage. The electrical current had caused severe disruption to his cardiac rhythm. Despite aggressive resuscitation efforts, including repeated defibrillation and emergency medications, Raharja's heart could not be stabilized. The electrical burn pathway had created irreversible damage to his cardiac tissue. At 5:42 p.m., just 85 minutes after being struck, Raharja was pronounced dead. Meteorologists later
Rest in
confirmed the
peace.
bolt had delivered approximately 300 million volts of electricity.
God damn, 300 million volts of electricity. That's like, that powers damn near a neighborhood, I think.
Through his body, far more than any human could survive. The platform dive gone wrong. On July 20th, than any human could survive. The platform
I know in diving, this is like a common occurrence, like especially when people do backflips, they don't really get pushed forward. Like when they flip kind of in place, so they hit the back of their head on the diving board. But I think I've seen this happen, or that like that type of accident happen a lot, even to this day. I remember, well, I don't remember, but remember hearing about it was this one guy. He cracked his head open in the Olympics. And it was like he had I think he had AIDS, and like all his blood got in the water and shit. This shit was funny. It's not funny. It's kind of interesting.
dive gone wrong. On July 29th, 1983, the Commonwealth Pool in Edmonton, Canada was filled with spectators attending the World University Games. Chalabashvili, a 21-year-old Soviet diver, was considered one of the most promising talents in the sport. His specialty was the 10-meter platform, where he regularly executed dives of the highest difficulty with seemingly effortless precision. For his fourth dive of the competition, Chalabashvili prepared to attempt a reverse 3.5 somersault in the tuck position, one of the most challenging dives in the sport. He stood at the edge of the platform, concentrating intensely. The crowd fell silent as he began his approach. His takeoff from the platform appeared normal. He gained appropriate height and initiated his rotation. But something went wrong in midair. Chalabashvili's body opened up slightly too early
He
from
broke
the tight
form.
position. This critical error threw off his rotation speed. As he descended toward the water, it became clear he wouldn't complete the required rotations. Instead of entering the water vertically, Chalibashvili struck the back of his head directly on the concrete platform. The sound of the impact echoed through the suddenly silent arena. His body fell limply into the pool. Blood immediately clouded the water around him. Fellow divers jumped in to assist as medical personnel rushed to the scene. Chalibashvili was unconscious when they pulled him from the water. A deep gash exposed his skull where it had struck the unyielding
Ooh,
concrete. Paramedics stabilized his neck and
damn.
applied pressure to the wound. His vital signs were weak, present as they loaded him into an ambulance. Doctors at the University of
He
Alberta
hit that shit
Hospital found that the
hard.
impact had caused severe trauma to his brainstem and cerebellum. Chalibashvili found that the
If you damage your brainstem, nigga, that's your equal. That's like your equilibrium's like right here, bro, in the brain. Nigga, even if he was to survive this, rest in peace, I'm pretty sure he might have been paralyzed or couldn't walk straight for the rest of his life.
impact had caused severe trauma
Like
to his
that's a
brainstem
fucked
and
up spot.
cerebellum.
Oh my
Chalibashvili was
god.
placed on life support in the intensive care unit. For 9 days, he remained in a deep coma, showing no signs of neurological activity. Despite aggressive medical intervention, the damage was irreversible. His brain had been critically injured at the moment of impact. On August 7, 1983, Sergei Chalibashvili's heart stopped beating. He died without
Rest in
ever
peace.
regaining consciousness. His promising career and young life ended by a split-second miscalculation. Collision with the machine. On February 22nd, 1992, the Chris Mountain
No
Air of
shit.
Les Arcs, France, was filled with anticipation as athletes prepared for the speed skiing competition at the Albertville
Speed
Winter
skiing.
Olympics. Bochetai, a 27-year-old Swiss competitor, was among the favorites in this demonstration sport, where skiers regularly exceeded 125 miles per hour down.
Fuck no. Anything where you going over 100 miles per hour and you're not even in like a vehicle, like you're not even in a vehicle, you just free falling 120 miles per hour. Imagine you were to smack one of these trees back here. There's some shit. That's some shit I would never even try. So I guess I'm just too much of a bitch. I don't know, man. The concept of going 100 plus and some shit like this is, oh my god.
Specially prepared slopes. The morning was perfect for training. Clear visibility, firm snow conditions, minimal wind. Bochetai and several teammates decided to take a warm-up run before the day's official practice. They set out on a marked trail adjacent to the competition course, building speed gradually as they descended. Bochetai accelerated into a gentle depression in the slope, his body in the aerodynamic tuck position that speed skiers use to minimize wind resistance. His specialized suit and helmet were designed for maximum velocity.
I'm not gonna lie, his shit low key tough. I'm fucking with the suit, even though that's probably not his actual
At
suit. But
approximately
fucking
68
with it.
miles per hour, he approached a small rise in the terrain. As he crested the hill, Bochetai had no time to react. Snowcat, a large machine used for grooming ski slopes,
Oh,
was parked directly in his path. The machine had been maintaining a service road that intersected with the training run. No warning signs or barriers had been placed to alert skiers. The impact was devastating. Bochetai's body struck the metal vehicle with tremendous force. His
ooh,
momentum carried him into the machine's steel frame and treads. The sound of the collision alerted nearby skiers and course workers, who rushed to the scene. Medical personnel arrived within minutes, but there was nothing they could do. The trauma to Bochetai's head, chest, and internal organs was immediate and fatal. The impact had caused massive internal hemorrhaging and multiple compound fractures.
yeah, bro. He smacked that shit crazy. I know that's like fuck, but like, why was it parked? Why was it parked in the middle of the? That makes I don't know, man. That shit makes no sense. I don't know why the shit was parked in the practice lane.
He died instantly upon collision. Spectators and fellow competitors gathered at the scene, many in tears as news of the accident spread. Olympic officials quickly announced the postponement of all speed skiing events. Flags at the Olympic venues were lowered to half-mast. An investigation later revealed critical failures in communication between course officials.
Yeah, I was about to say there should be no reason why that shit was just sitting in the middle of the practice track.
And maintenance crews. The Snowcat operator had no radio contact with event coordinators and was unaware athletes would be using the training run that morning.
I feel like I don't know, but I feel like that's like a common sense thing. It's like, hey, we don't know if nobody's gonna be using it, but this is still an Olympic event, just like track. Imagine if I put a big ass car in the middle of the track and left it, left it in lane 5, thinking, and nobody's going to use it. It's like they might not, but nigga, you can't leave this shit in the middle of the practice track.
Spectacle silenced. On March 15, 1971, a modest crowd gathered in the small Belgian town of Retail to watch a local cycling race. Montserrat, the reigning world champion, stood out immediately in his distinctive rainbow jersey, the coveted garment awarded only to world champions. At just 22 years old, he was already considered one of cycling's brightest stars. The race was a minor event on the Belgian calendar, nothing like the major classics or grand tours where Montserrat normally competed. For him, it was a chance to build form early in the season while racing close to home.
Damn, that's fucked up, bro. He was out there he was just trying to get his XP up. Out here fucking around with these little niggas. So he'd be ready for the big event, and this
The 10-kilometer circuit wound through narrow country roads lined with spectators enjoying the first hints of spring. Montserrat quickly established himself at the front of the race. His powerful pedal stroke and professional positioning in the peloton made him easy to spot, even without the distinctive jersey. As he approached the 4th kilometer of the course, he was riding confidently near the front of a small breakaway group. The road ahead appeared clear. Race marshals had blocked most intersections, but not all local residents had been properly notified about road closures. A small British-made car suddenly appeared on the course, driven by an elderly man who was unaware of the ongoing race.
Don't tell me he ran him over.
The vehicle moved directly into the path of the oncoming cyclists. Other riders swerved frantically. Montserrat, positioned on the outside of the group, had nowhere to go. His bicycle...
You didn't think about going on the street? Am I bugging? I mean, I guess there was a barricade here, but nigga, if I couldn't go this way, I'm at least trying to go this way.
Swerved frantically. Montserrat, positioned on the outside of the group, had nowhere to go. His bicycle struck the car's front bumper at approximately 30 miles per hour.
God damn.
The impact launched him over the handlebars. Montserrat's body hit the windshield before being thrown onto the asphalt. His helmet, basic leather protection by modern standards, provided minimal protection.
This was a helmet back in the day? Nigga, it's metal, like just hooks, not even like full protection. Nigga, an NFL helmet, this was 78, right? Nigga, an NFL helmet didn't even look this bad.
Spectators screamed as they witnessed the world champion lying motionless on the pavement. Blood pooled beneath his head. Medical assistants arrived within minutes. A doctor from the crowd immediately began resuscitation efforts as race officials radioed for an ambulance. Despite their desperate attempts, Montserrat's injuries were too severe. The impact had caused severe trauma to his skull and cervical spine.
Damn.
At 4:15 p.m., less than 30 minutes after the collision, Jean-Pierre Montserrat was pronounced dead at the scene. The rainbow jersey, cycling's most prestigious symbol, was stained with the blood of...
I'm not gonna lie, you gotta retire the jersey for everybody after this one.
...of its youngest champion. Olympic heat miscalculation.
Olympic heat miscalculation. This looks like tofu or butter, and it looks like he's slathering himself up for it. He has a white man's mustache. I'm gonna try to guess what sport this was. This was definitely a running sport. I think this is a marathon. He's a marathon runner. And I don't know what he used this for. But whatever this substance is, he leathered his body up in this shit and probably had a heat stroke. That's my guess.
On July 14th, 1912, spectators gathered
1912, God
at the Stockholm Olympics. Lázaro, a 21-year-old Portuguese runner, was among the 68 competitors prepared to tackle the 26.2-mile course.
Told you he was a marathon runner.
The weather conditions were unusually brutal for Sweden. Temperatures reached 89 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity and no cloud cover.
Damn.
Before the race, Lázaro made a critical decision based on faulty medical understanding of the time. He covered large portions of his body with a thick layer of suet, animal fat typically.
Nigga submerged himself in animal fat. Yo, niggas back in the day, deadass used to be trying everything, any and everything, with no hypothesis, no theories, and all you had to do was say it's gonna work, and niggas would believe that shit wholeheartedly. It's like, and what universe does rubbing animal fat on your body while about to go run in the heat is gonna cool you down? Oh my God.
Used for cooking. This was common practice among some athletes who believed it would prevent sunburn and reduce water loss.
Sunburn? King. Zinc was founded way before 1912. You could have threw on some fucking sunscreen. Oh my god.
Through the skin. At 1:45 p.m., the marathon began. Lazaro started conservatively, settling into a steady rhythm as the pack made its way through Stockholm's streets. Spectators noted his determined expression as he passed the early checkpoints. For the first 10 kilometers, he appeared strong and composed. As the race progressed, the temperature continued to climb. By the 25-kilometer mark, many runners were showing visible signs of heat distress. Lazaro began to struggle. His pace slowed. Witnesses reported seeing him stagger slightly, his gait becoming irregular. The suet coating, rather than protecting him, was preventing his body from cooling through natural perspiration. At the 30-kilometer mark, near the town of Sollentuna, Lazaro suddenly veered to the side of the road. His legs buckled beneath him. He collapsed onto the dusty surface.
He passed out.
Unconscious. Race officials and medical personnel rushed to his aid. His skin was alarmingly hot to the touch, yet completely dry. Doctors at the scene recognized the symptoms of severe hyperthermia. Lazaro's
Hypothermia? I thought that was for when you freeze.
core temperature had risen to dangerous levels. His pulse was rapid but weak. Despite having water poured over him and being transported quickly to a nearby medical facility, his condition deteriorated rapidly. For several hours, medical staff fought to lower his temperature and restore fluid balance. His organs began shutting down one by one as the accumulated heat damage spread throughout his system. His heart, already strained from the race, could not sustain the additional stress. At 7:30 a.m.,
And that animal fat was probably all up in his pores. It probably went all up through his body and shit. Because, you know, you don't just try some new shit during the Olympics. That means he must have been doing that shit for a while. So his body was probably like just submerged in animal fat. His pores were all clogged up and stuff. Oh, that's probably why they couldn't really cool him down.
following day, Francisco Lazaro died without regaining consciousness. He became the
Yeah,
first athlete
peace
to
to
die
follow.
during competition in the modern Olympic Games. The autopsy revealed extreme dehydration and electrolyte imbalances that led to multiple organ failure. If you want to see more videos like this,
Peace to the fallen. You know, a lot happened in this video. You know, I made some jokes from time to time, but you know, I ain't meaning in a disrespectful way. If anybody who feels offended by it, I apologize. But you know, with that being said, that was every athlete who died in front of their fans. Let me know how y'all feel about that down below. See y'all boys later, dude.
I'm not trying to score. Your heart's an open door. I got the key. I'm trying to keep composure and some more. I know you want some more. Oh, oh. Can your body hear me? Want you to feel me?